You ever see those huge government contracts and wonder, how does a business even get that? It can seem like this secret club, right? Well, today, we're going to crack the code together. We're going to hand you the key. Let's dive in.
All right, just look at this number for a second. 12 crores. That is a lot of money. Just to put it in perspective, we're talking about roughly 1.4 million US dollars. And you know what this is for? It's the price tag on just one single government contract for waste management in Srinagar. I mean, it's a massive number for sure, but what's really interesting is what it tells us.
And here's the thing. This isn't some once-in-a-lifetime impossible-to-get prize. Nope. This is just one of thousands of opportunities, tenders, or bids as they're called, that are posted on India's government e-marketplace. You'll hear it called GEM. Honestly, the best way to think of it is like the Amazon for government work. It's this huge online portal, the main gateway for any business that wants to work with the government.
Okay, so it's a giant marketplace. How do you even begin to navigate it? Well, to really get a handle on how this all works, we're going to do something cool. We're going to look at 4 different real-life bids that were recently on the GEM portal. By comparing them side by side, you'll get a real feel for the huge range of opportunities out there.
And here they are. I mean, look at this range. You've got these huge multi-core defense contracts for waste management, one in Srinagar, one in Secunderabad. Then you see a facility management contract with the Ministry of Finance, still pretty big, but then look at the bottom one, a contract for under 10 lakhs with the Ministry of Housing. The scale is just wow. And that is the key takeaway here. There are opportunities for businesses of all sizes.
So this platform, GEM, its whole purpose is to make this process, public procurement, way more transparent and efficient. It's basically the middleman, the connector, right? It links up all these government departments with businesses just like yours for pretty much anything you can think of. So now that we've set the stage, let's really get into the nitty-gritty of these contracts.
All right, so let's say you're browsing the site and you find a tender that looks perfect for your business. You're thinking, this is it. What's the next step? Well, hold on a sec. Before you start planning your victory party, you have to pass the first and maybe most important test, eligibility. And I mean, you have to meet every single requirement. If you miss just one, you're out. It's as simple as that. So the big question is, do you actually qualify?
And let's start with what's often the biggest hurdle for people, the money question. How much does your business need to have made? We're talking specifically about your company's average annual turnover.
This is where it gets really interesting when you compare them. For that massive 12 crore defense contract, yeah, you need a pretty hefty turnover, 2 crores a year on average. But what about that smaller 9 lakh housing contract? The requirement drops all the way down to 10 lakhs. See the difference? This is perfect proof that you don't have to be some massive corporation to play this game. There's a spot for smaller players too.
Okay, so let's say your financials are in order. Great. But the government needs to know more. They need to know, can you actually pull this off? So the next big question is all about your track record. Have you done something like this before? It's all about past experience.
And here's a curveball for you. You'd think the bigger the contract, the more experience you'd need, right? Well, not always. Check this out. The 1.7 crore finance bid wants 5 years of experience, but that huge 12 crore defense bid, only 3 years. Kind of weird, huh? So what gives? Well, it could be that the defense job is a more standard, straightforward service, whereas the finance one might need a provider with a longer, more specialized history of trust. The big lesson here? Never ever assume. You have to read the fine print on everything.
Now there's another financial piece to this puzzle. Before you can even tell them how much you'll charge, you often have to put some skin in the game. It's called an earnest money deposit, or EMD. The name says it all, right? It's basically a security deposit. Think of it like putting a deposit down on a house. It proves you're serious and you're not just going to flake out if they pick you. And when you see it laid out like this, the difference in that upfront risk becomes so clear. For that 12 crore defense contract, you got to be ready to put 8 lakh rupees on the line. Whoa. For the finance contract, it's a bit more down to earth, about 1.7 lakhs. And for the small housing contract, just 9,000 rupees. You can see how the EMD scales directly with the size of the job. It really shows the level of commitment they expect. Okay, so you've checked your turnover, you've got the experience, and you can handle the EMD. You're all set to go, right? Wrong. Not so fast. Honestly, the things that will make or break your bid are usually buried in the details. On the GEM portal, they call it Buyer Added Bid Specific Terms and Conditions. It's a mouthful, I know, but this is where you have to become a detective. Here's a perfect example, and we pulled this line straight from one of the tenders. an office of the service provider must be located in the state of consignee. Think about that. That one sentence means that even a giant nationwide company could be instantly disqualified if they don't have a local branch in that specific state. It has nothing to do with money, but it's every bit as important.
Oh, and it goes way beyond just location. You start digging and you find all sorts of things. Do you need a special kind of electrical license? Can you prove you're financially stable enough to handle 2 crores? Do at least 40% of your employees have to be on your payroll for a full year? And get this, are you able to pay your staff their full salaries before the government even pays you? I mean, these are the little details that can trip you up if you're not careful.
This all might sound a little intimidating, right? Especially if you're a small business or a startup. You might be thinking, am I just completely locked out of this world? And that's a totally fair question. But the good news is, sometimes there are exceptions. Sometimes there's a special way in.
And this really lays it all out. For that smaller housing bid, you can see it right there, they offer relaxations for micro and small enterprises, or MSEs, and for startups. They'll actually lower the bar on turnover and experience for you. But then, look at the big boys, the defense and finance contracts. No exceptions, no relaxations. So what does this tell us? It shows the government is trying to help smaller companies get a foot in the door, but you have to be smart about it. You have to pick your battles. Hey, just so we're all on the same page, an MSE isn't just, a small business. It's an official government classification based on your investment and turnover. And getting that classification comes with some serious perks. It's absolutely crucial because, like we just saw, it can literally open doors that would otherwise be closed. It gives you a real leg up.
Okay, so we've waded through a lot of jargon and fine print. We've decoded the details. The question now is, how do you actually use all of this? Let's boil it all down into a super simple checklist, something you can use every single time you look at a government tender.
Just think of this as your 4-point inspection before you even think about bidding. Step 1, the financials. Do you have the money, the turnover, the EMD? Step 2, the experience. Do you have the track record they're looking for? Step 3, the fine print. You got to read all of it. Are there any deal breakers hidden in there? And finally, step 4, look for those relaxations. Does your MSE or startup status give you a special advantage on this one? If you can check these 4 boxes, you're in a great position.
So you see, cracking the code of government tenders, it's not really about finding some magical secret. It's about being a smart detective. It's about knowing what to look for and asking the right questions. And with thousands of these opportunities posted every single day, for everything from 9 lakhs to 12 crores, the potential is just immense. There's a piece of that pie for so many businesses. So the real question isn't whether the opportunity exists. The real question is, what are you going to do about it?